feel about handing that baby over and someone having a remix like that? How do you do?
So, fair question. Really good one. Again, man, you're making me kind of like put it all out there here, Rory. It's happened for a long time. I remember when K-Class remixed There Will Come a Day, and they put the K-Class sound on it. It was one of the first times where I had a record of significance that somebody else remixed. And I was like, oh, okay. And then Benji Candelario did a mix on it. And they still kept the ethos of the song. I was fine with it. You know, I was okay. It was a little weird. I think for me, when someone remixes my record, my ego will want to jump to the front and say, what if it's better than yours? I did a record, the third Absolute record, which wasn't with Suzanne, it was with Sean Christopher, called Catch Me, which was a really good record. M&S did a mix that actually I like better than mine. It doesn't happen a lot, but I will acquiesce. When it's better, I'm like, yeah. But I gave you a song that compelled you to do what you do. So we did this as a partnership. You know, whenever I remix a song, I acquiesce to 50% of what's happening is coming from out of the speakers with that. So the ego wants to jump in and say, I don't want theirs to be more popular than mine. And then I make that go away and I just look at it practically and I understand I've done my best. As long as I've done my best, then it doesn't matter what the remixer does. I've done me. I did me. That's it. I love doing me on my record. So you deliver something that brings it even more commercial value. Cool. I'll take it. I'll take it. Great.
Mark, what would your advice be to someone starting out in the music industry today? Because that's an interesting thing to.
You know, the answer is different today than it would have been 20 years ago. Because I get that question answered asked a lot. I sit on a lot of, I take opportunities where I can pay it forward, because I used to sit in the audience at some of these conferences and the producers get up there and all they do is just pat each other on the back. I'm like, no, how do I get there? Tell me how I can get from this seat to that seat. And my answer is still the same. Do your own record. Make a record. Make a record, make a record, make a record, make a record. Don't get stuck. Now, it's fine to do remixes, and that's good, but remixes no longer will bring you the value they did. I mean, Deep Dish, great example. It was a remix of DeLacy Hideaway that skyrocketed them. Armand Van Helden, his remixes. David Morales, even me, I had remixes that did it. But I had the Absolute, and I had Bass Toy, and I had those things that then brought me above the fray. Right? It's a very crowded field right now. So you understand where you're at. Bring in other people who do things individually better than you do, if you can. That is the mark of a good producer. Now, we're working the electronic world, so we can all do it internally. But man, I want a live bass or whatever. I go to the best guy and I have him play bass. I find people to bring them in. I ask other people's opinion, but I don't make decisions by committee opinion, meaning I hear what you're saying. Thank you for that. I'll put it into my brain and digest it. And just don't stop. Keep doing it. Listen, There Will Come a Day. I had done a record, my first record on my own, Street Life. Can't even think of it. Love Breakdown, 1992. I wrote the song. I was not a songwriter. I'm like, no, try it. I remember laying in bed one day and came up with the term Love Breakdown. I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. Well, what rhyme was it? Down, around, down. So I started forming some words and all of a sudden I had a chorus written. If you're messing around, you're going to say hello to our love breakdown. If you're messing around, you better say goodbye to my love. You know, anyone can form a sentence. You can write a song. So tracks are cool. Songs, if you do it, will get you a little more value, although that's not always true because there's some great tracks. So write, go ahead and write, learn how to rhyme. If it sounds silly, write it a different way, make it more clever, take a long thing and put it into a short phrase. So I had done Street Life, written the song. Tribal America, which was a big label at the time, signed it. I felt all this confidence. So then I did There Will Come a Day with my keyboard player, Craig. And I thought, I'm not giving it to Tribal. I'm going to go to New York. And at the time, you know, we had all the New York labels, Strictly Rhythm and Fourth and Broadway. And I met with 12 labels in 2 days, and they all rejected the record. Everybody rejected There Will Come a Day. Now, for those of you who haven't heard the record, go listen to it. I very rarely say this. It's a fucking masterpiece. It's a masterpiece. I didn't know that's what I was making, but it is a masterpiece. There's never a moment in that 11 minutes where you're bored. Maybe the intro. No, not even the intro, because it starts out with the gospel choir. So anyway, so I'm like, do I have this wrong? The self-doubt kicked in. I mean, I had self-doubt with Street Life, and then it got picked up, and I'm like, this is a way better record. And they turned it. I'm like, all right, fine. So I called Rob DiStefano at Tribal America. Say, Rob, I got a record for you. I sent him the Absolute. And he goes, yeah, I'm not feeling it. I'm like, what? You're not feeling it? I was gutted. Oh my gosh. So I'm working on a remix for Street Life. I was doing remixes, and I played it for him over the phone. I'm going to swear, so you can cut this out if you need to, but these are his words, not mine.
No problem.
So
no problem.
I'm playing them the remixes, and he's like, these are great. He's like, these are great. He's like, Picchiotti, you're fucking brilliant. And I said, if I'm so fucking brilliant, why did you pass on the Absolute? And he goes, I don't know. Let me go listen to it again. It's an 11-minute song. He calls me back after 6 minutes. I hear it in the background. He goes, I don't know what I was thinking, but holy crap. And I hadn't even delivered the dubs yet. So point is, if you really believe that if it moves you and it moves you, push it, keep going with it. I can't pretend to understand how everybody operates. And I can't, you could live in a false bubble and have a record that's terrible and think it's the greatest thing. And I definitely have run into that. But I think when you get down and really take a minute, take 2 seconds, look inside and go, is this the best I can do? And if it isn't, also though, don't play into the perfectionism, because that's the battle, man. I know so many producers that get the record 90% and they give up, because at the very last, and I'm going to tell you, that's what's going to separate anybody from being a wannabe to being successful, is that last 10 to 20% of discomfort of having to finally put your child out in front and wait for that approval from the world, because we are in our records. You got to get past that. You have to step back, man up a little bit, and get the rejection. Accept rejection if it happens. Just take it and then do it again and do it again and do it again.